website. Okay, great. Well, thank you everybody for coming to the safety subcommittee meeting today. It went from being terribly raining to now very hot and steamy, but I appreciate you taking time to be here today. I still have on my agenda, there's an open call for volunteers if anyone wants to be the chairperson for this committee. It's a pretty easy job, I think. We support you here from BMC. You just kind of help us make the agendas, bring in topics or speakers or ideas, but I take care of all the agenda minutes, everything like that. So if you're thinking about it or if you would like to do it, feel free to just shoot me a message. The first thing on our list is approval of the minutes from our last meeting in March. They did go out with the meeting invitation and everything, the calendar appointments. So does anyone have any changes or edits they would like to see in the minutes? All right, I don't see anyone or hear anyone, so we'll take them as is and accept the minutes from March. And now we'll go ahead and we'll kick off and we will start with Miss Myra Weeman from the Deputy Director of the Maryland Highway Safety Office. Let me pull up your presentation here and share it. And she's going to give us an update on an interesting legislative session.
Thanks, Cindy.
There you go.
So we didn't have a huge number of transportation safety related bills, but there are about 5 that I thought might interest this group. And then there were 2 that did not pass that we may see come up again next year. So I thought that might be of interest to this group as well. So the first one was Senate Bill 877, and this is a stop sign monitoring system bill that is actually still considered a pilot program. And just like the red light cameras, this is a camera-based monitoring program for those people that do not come to a complete stop at a stop sign. Last year in the 2025 session, the legislation permitted 1 location in Baltimore City, and then this enhances the bill to allow in school zones within the 41st legislative district. The nice thing about this this fine, if I guess that's okay to say, is that when all the money that is collected, it supports youth services and programs in the district. Now, there is a portion that does go, of course, to the company that runs the cameras, but then other than that, it goes to youth services and programs where the violation occurred. And this one will be effective on July 1st. Okay. Oh, and just a note, I have placed a link. I know Cindy sends out the presentations. So each of these slides will have a red link in the upper right-hand corner. So if you want to get more information or read it yourself, you can, thank you, Cindy. You can just simply click there and it'll take you to the bill. Okay. Next is Senate Bill 366. This got a lot of attention in last year's session and a lot of attention in this year's session. And it's referred to, you'll hear this term a lot, ISA, which is Intelligent Speed Assistance. Again, this passed as a pilot program. You'll also hear the term speed governor. That's a very popular term for this as well. And it establishes a program really intended to target the repeat speeding violators and those who are speeding at very, very large high speeds, much higher than the posted speed limit. So in a nutshell, and it's a little bit more complicated as far as all the ways that a person would be put into the program, but pretty much a driver who accumulates too many points that are speeding offenses only, they're going to be required to install an ISA system. And what this will do is it's automatically going to limit the speed that driver can go once this device is installed within the vehicle. There is a way that a driver can temporarily override the device. So, for instance, if they're trying to get around a large truck and they need to go a few miles over the speed limit, they can go ahead and do the override for a short period. There's a picture of it here in the bottom right corner of your screen. This is just one manufacturer's, but a lot of them are very similar to this. And just like the ignition interlock system, it will be a company that you will, be able to choose from a couple, and then you get it installed. You have to go regularly to have the data downloaded, and they can see, you know, where your speed is, how many times you've overrode the system, when, and et cetera. MVA must establish all the rules and requirements for this from an administrative standpoint on or before October 1st of 2027, next year. So although this is not complicated, but it confuses people. The bill is effective this October, but because MVA needs to take the time to go over all of the administrative processes and get everything set up here at the MVA to handle this, we have until October 2027 to start overseeing the program, setting the standards for those installers that are going to be approved, just like the ignition interlock installers who are approved, and then also require the participants to pay the enrollment and the installation fees and how we're going to process all that. So the bill gave us a little bit of time to work that into our system. Next is Senate Bill 38, also House Bill 286. This is just a slight change to the ignition interlock system program. This was an MVA departmental bill, which means MVA submitted this bill. And pretty much what this bill is saying is only drivers under 21 had to complete the ignition interlock program. And now all drivers will need to complete the ignition interlock bill. And that's effective October 1st of this year. There's a couple of nuances in this one as well, but it pretty much boils down to that. And if you want more of the detailed language, again, you can click on either of those links in the upper right-hand corner. Next bill is the Driver Skills Examination Motorcycle Safety Awareness Bill, Senate Bill 68. And what this bill did is it actually added at least 5 questions related to motorcycle safety awareness. So as you come in and you take your driver's license test, there is a pool of questions that your particular exam can randomly pull from. And this is actually saying that the driver examination pool of questions has to include at least 5 directly related to drivers' awareness about motorcyclists around them. So some of the topics are visibility, proper lane positioning, and following distance when you're around a motorcycle, and also some questions related to how drivers can prevent crashes when they're driving around motorcycles. This one again is effective October 1st of this year. The next one is House Bill 474. This one got a lot of media coverage, so you may have heard of this one. And it has to do with making sure that you get all the snow and ice removed from your vehicle as best as you can. So it's also called the Clear Before You Drive Act. And the verbiage is that you must make reasonable efforts to remove snow and ice before you put your vehicle out on the road in those types of conditions. It is a secondary law, which means if you cannot be stopped just for this, you must be doing something else in order for you to be stopped, and it is effective this year. You'll see in the chart below, there's a first offense and then subsequent offenses after that. If you're towing while driving or towing a non-commercial vehicle, those fines are a little bit less than if you're driving or towing a commercial vehicle. And then obviously the fines progressively go up depending on how many offenses you have. Now, two bills that did not pass in 2026. One was the sleep apnea bill. This again this got some media coverage this year. And this is another MBA administrative bill that the MBA put in. And what it wanted to do was remove sleep apnea from the list of medical conditions that you have to report to the MVA Medical Review Board. So there is a list of, there are a list medical conditions that you're required to report, such as Parkinson's, just for example. And sleep apnea is one that is on the list. Now, the reason that the MVA put this bill in and asked for it to be removed is because although it is considered a disorder that can affect your driving safety, requiring that it be reported could create some unnecessary administrative burdens. And without any clear evidence of a direct driver safety risk, we felt that it didn't have to be on the mandatory report list. It did not pass this year, but you might see this one in subsequent years. And then the second one that did not pass was House Bill 114, also referred to as Mateo's Law. Again, this one got quite a bit of media coverage as well. And it required any person that's involved in a crash that results in a death or life-threatening injury that they have to submit to breath and blood testing for impaired driving. It got a little bit further this year than in past years, but this one did not pass. And I'm sure we will be seeing this one again next year. If you want to read the full legislative summary, they do have each session. They have what's called a 90-day report, and it gives you a full review, broken out into 12 key policy areas. It's pretty lengthy. So if you're just interested in transportation and the motor vehicle bills, you can just go straight to Part G, and Part G will give you all those bills. And if you have any questions, there's my contact information.
Great, thanks, Myra.
You're welcome.
Does anybody have any questions? I have some simple ones, but I have about the first one, the stop sign bill. Pardon my ignorance. The 41st Legislative District, is that primarily Baltimore City or other areas?
I did not look up exactly what that district is, but it definitely covers a lot of Baltimore City. I pulled that out since I know that would be good for your group.
I was thinking since the pilot location was in the city, they just expanded around it. I believe
it's also
have some in Montgomery County, right?
Prince George's.
Prince George's. Okay.
And I believe this bill also covers a little bit in Prince George. I left that out just because this is Baltimore Metro.
No, I appreciate that. And congratulations on getting the ISA through. I think that personally, I think that will be a very big help since we know speeding is one of our most major concerns.
Yeah, and we hear the term super speeder a lot. There's really no, defined definition of what is a super speeder. There are some of our neighboring states call it 100 miles per hour. If you hit 100, you're a super speeder. Virginia, of course, has the aggressive driving at 80 miles per hour. So although the bill does spell out how many points, there are some other things that we are looking at of when a person, would be required to go into the ISA program. And that is one of the considerations only right now is, someone that is driving at 100 miles per hour, which is quite a bit over any speed limit in the state of Maryland.
Very much so. But I've heard on the news that they've caught camera tickets at that level and above. So we
quite a few
there.
Quite a few. We've heard from quite a few law enforcement agencies all throughout the state, not just the Baltimore metropolitan region, although a couple from there. And on a regular basis, they're seeing and ticketing at over 100.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you. I appreciate you as always coming in and giving us the shorthand version of the whole legislative process each year.
The layman's terms version. That's how I
Yes,
refer to it.
that's how I need it.
That's how it's always explained to me. Give me the
Yeah,
layman's version.
absolutely. Great. Well, thank you.
You're
Any
welcome.
questions for Myra or any highway safety office questions otherwise? I don't see any hands. So thank you again for your time. All right, now we're going to shift over to some regional updates. And sorry, let me get the right one up here. No, sorry. Let me share the correct one. Oh, there it is right in front of me. And I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, is Miriam Sultan, to give us a recap. We learned last meeting about Bike to Work Week plans. Now we can hear about how it went. Miriam?
Hi, everyone. I'm presenting an update on Bike to Work Week 2026. Sorry about the wrong date on the first slide. Next slide, please. Some things that were new this year. We used a new website for our registration form called Public Input that Baltimore Metropolitan Council uses for a lot of our different projects. We tried to make the registration form as simple as possible. And this year we also added terms and conditions. We removed the QR check-in at stops and shops. So people could just walk up and grab a shirt if they were registered. We just asked if people are registered, but a lot of people did come up, just grabbed a shirt, not too formal a process there. And at the end of the week, we asked our partners for the remaining t-shirt count. So we could use that to see how many people actually came out. If we gave a certain stop 200 shirts and there were 2 shirts left, we understood that almost 200 people came out there. On to the next slide. Also new this year, we had an ArcGIS web map. So it featured all our locations and included a layer for protected bike facilities. So people could help plan their rides, trying to see like what protected bike facilities they can take to their pit stops and pickup shops. Next slide, please. This Bike to Work Week, we had the Baltimore City Mayor's event on the Monday to kick off Bike to Work Week instead of the Friday where it usually takes place. Mayor Brandon Scott announced 17 miles of new or improved bike lanes planned for Baltimore, which made the news, got a lot of coverage, and really sparked an interest in Bike to Work Week. This article in the Baltimore Banner mentioned our Bike to Work website and told people about registration. So we got a lot of new registrants during the week. Next slide, please. So registrations by year. We had a huge dip in 2020. And then in 2021, 2022, we saw numbers increasing, but remaining around a stable 1,700, 1,600. But this year we reached above 2,000 participants, a huge increase from last year. And we think this could have been because of our kind of advertising we were doing, the mayor's event at the beginning of the week, or just, dedication from the partner shops and stops and the entire region coming together to make Bike to Work Week a success. So we're very happy about our registration numbers this year. Next slide, please. So for registrants that selected their county, we had about 2,000 people. Some people didn't, fully check off everything on the form. Some people didn't want a shirt, but they wanted to register to ride. We can see here that Baltimore City had the most registrants at 921, followed by Howard County, then Baltimore County, Harford County. But we did have representation from every single county this year, which is great. Next slide, please. You can see here a graph that we have, just some data on registrations by county by year. And registrations are from last year are up in every county, and a huge increase this year in Baltimore City as well, and Howard County. And Hartford County has a huge increase this year too from last year. So just put that data there to examine, think about. Next slide. We also asked registrants how many years have they participated. For 31% of people, this is their first year. 41% have participated 1 to 5 years, and 11% have participated for over 11 years. Just to note, this is the 29th year of Bike to Work Central Maryland. Next year will be our 30th anniversary, and we're planning to do some new and innovative things, and especially the t-shirt. We're thinking of maybe making some reflective design on it if that's in the budget. So stay tuned for new and exciting updates on the 30th anniversary. Next slide, please. This year we had 26 celebratory events throughout the region. Next slide, please. And we had 18 bike store partners throughout the region. These bike stores at any time during open hours were giving out t-shirts. There was a little bit of problem with distribution to some stores this year and when shirts were being given out, but in general, people could come to the bike stores at any time during open hours throughout the week and pick up a free t-shirt if they were registered. Next slide, please. Currently, we're collecting information on how people's experience was in the 2026 Bike to Work Week. The survey is closing on June 16th. Participants are being entered into a $100 raffle prize, and the raffle will go to a local bike shop where people can buy $100 worth of anything they like. We have had 225 responses as of the 8th, which is a great response rate, I feel, and we've gotten lots of great feedback as well. So next slide, please. We'll talk a little bit about the survey results. People were generally happy with Bike to Work Week. We asked if they were happy with the different ways they could participate with an average rating of 4.3. We asked if there was a pickup spot convenient to their commute. That's an average rating of 4.1. If people understood where they could go to get their free t-shirt, 4.3 again. And if they could easily contact the Bike to Work project team, about 4.05 rating on that one. So above 4 stars for all of these categories. Next slide, please. Most people were satisfied with Bike to Work Week this year, and almost all people would participate again this year. Next slide, please. We also asked people how we could improve. This is a question specifically on how we can improve the website and the registration. A lot of people said there were no changes necessary. We heard that people did want the location map on the homepage, so we're thinking of how to integrate that for next year. We heard that people wanted to select their specific pickups shop or pit stop during registration. We currently just ask about the county, not the specific shop or stop. Some people wanted the registration link more prominent, more pictures, and I think about 7% wanted the registration form opened earlier. We always open it April 1st. Next slide, please. Some more points taken from the qualitative, like the write-in comments, that people want increased clarity on shirt pickup times. They wanted registration confirmation emails. Our system and public input wasn't set up for that. So I was looking at everyone's email who registered and sending out a confirmation email every few days, but it would be really nice if the process was automated. So we're going to look into that for next year. They wanted us to do more promotion, get the word out more, engage more with local community organizations. A few people wanted an update on the t-shirt design and for us to consider natural materials like cotton. A lot of people are moving away from like polyester-based fabrics, and the shirts have been a performance fabric for the last few years, which is polyester-based. It's very breathable. It keeps you cool, but not everyone is happy with that choice. So it's something we'll look into as we are planning for next year. And a lot of stops did run out of shirts before the end of their sessions. For example, I was at the Harbor East pit stop on Friday, and within an hour of a 3-hour pit stop, we totally ran out of this year's shirts. And a lot of people commented on that they wanted to get their shirts, but they weren't able to. That's just because of the increased popularity of this year and the difficulty of knowing who's going to go where during the week and distributing the shirts correctly to each location. Go on to the next slide, please. Just threw in a few quotes here from the comments. We heard that people want the event to be bigger. People want the demographics of people who come to the event to be more diverse. Someone said that we should celebrate the entire month of May as Bike Month, which I know that MDOT does do. And we also heard that people want us to involve community organizations more. So we'll think about how to do that for next year. Next slide, please. We have a Google Drive to share photos. I can put that link in the chat. Next slide, please. Bike to Work Week 2027. So Bike to Work Day is always a third Friday in May. So Bike to Work Week will be from May 17th to May 23rd next year. We've already sent out the post-event survey, so that needs to be updated there. We are starting to think about ideas for sponsors, pit stops, and pickup shops, and we'd love to hear from you with suggestions for that. I'm also going to plug the Active Transportation newsletter that I help put together every month. So if you go to yourregionyourvoice.org/AT-news, that's where before registration opens, we update people throughout Bike to Work Week. Throughout the months leading up to Bike to Work Week, we keep people updated. We do a recap afterwards. And throughout the year, we feature stories about project updates, funding, surveys, public meetings, everything from around the region, sort of all public engagement opportunities from our member jurisdictions. So check it out. Subscribe if you'd like. Next slide, please. And that's it. So I'm Mariam, a multimodal planner here. And if you want to have any conversations with the Bike to Work team, you can email bike2work, like the number 2, at baltimoremetro.org. Thank you very much. I'll send that survey in the chat if anyone participated in Bike to Work Week and wants to share thoughts on it, and also the Google Drive with photos.
Great. Thank you so much, Miriam. And I'll also, after the meeting, I'll forward out the most recent Active Transportation newsletter. So you'll have the link you saw in her presentation, but it'll also have a link on there too. So you can join that list. Any comments or questions about Bike to Work Week? I will say this is the first time I went to a pit stop this year, which I should be ashamed to say. And it was very awesome to see how well it was all run and just how active and dedicated bike riders are.
Glad that you came out this year.
Yeah, I am too. I should have done it long before. Not to call you out, Tanya, but I see you on here, and you had another big one down there for Anne Arundel and Annapolis. How did your big event go? I'm sure that was on par, or I don't know, maybe even bigger than the mayor's that Miriam talked about.
No, it went very well. Kiara Randolph is our person in charge of that program. She's not here on the call, but I think she was pleased with the outcome. I was there. The new mayor was there, this county executive, and we had a new location for it. It still was down at City Dock, but they're under construction down there where we normally have it. And it actually turned out to be better because we got a lot of foot traffic walking by that we normally wouldn't have had, saying, what's this all about? So hopefully that'll increase riders next year.
Awesome. That's so cool.
I went to the Annapolis event last year and it was really great. I got to interview the previous mayor for our Bikeable Baltimore Region project, and just huge turnout.
Awesome. And it was a good day for it. I remember it was slightly chilly in the morning, but it was a great weather. So that certainly helps. Anybody else have any comments about Bike to Work Week this year or stories to share? Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate your time, Miriam, and the update. And she put all the links in the chat. I will also pull them down and send them out to the full roster after the meeting for those that couldn't be here today.
Thank you, Cindy.
Great, thanks. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the other things we have going on here at the BMC. Let me come over here. I want to show you on our webpage. If you go to BMC's webpage, we actually just over the last week or so, we've posted 2 new RFPs for safety projects. So it's the second thing on our scrolling news banner here. So you could click on that link, or for anything BMC, you can always come to the bottom of our main webpage and go to request for proposals. They all get posted there as well. Sometimes we have other news pop up, so sometimes it's easier just to go to the main source. The 2 we have open right now for the next month or 2, we're looking to start phase 3 of Look Alive. We're very excited. We've had this program gratefully through funding from the Highway Safety Office since 2018. It started with my colleague Bala Akundi, and so we've been on the street with Signal Woman and had all the creative and everything out there since 2019. So we're looking to start the next phase of it and hopefully incorporate a lot more bicycle safety stuff, actually going along with the Bike to Work Week presentation. But whether it's e-bikes or other micromobility devices, we want to try to expand some of that messaging beyond just pedestrian safety with some bicycle messaging. We want to really make it more robust. And then we have a second one. I believe I mentioned at the last meeting about road safety audits and Vision Zero. So we know the state has a Vision Zero process where the State Highway Administration reviews fatal crashes that occur on state highways. And a lot of you out there review all of your fatal crashes anyway as a best practice for engineering and planning. What we want to do with this RFP is have a consultant come on board to help support a broader vision of those road safety audits and reviews, and use your local safety teams to branch out. So it's beyond just engineering and planning concerns, but brings in law enforcement, health department, school systems, everybody you have on your local safety teams to support your SHSPs or Vision Zero plans, kind of bring all of them together to do these safety audits to get some more, not just infrastructure improvement recommendations, but also other things about outreach and behavior change. So that'll run through FY27. The ultimate goal is to work with each of your teams and do at least one audit in your jurisdiction to really refine this process. So if anybody's interested or you have any questions about these projects, please let me know.
Cindy, this is Tanya. We just did, we got awarded, our Department of Health got awarded the Safe Routes to School State Department of Health grant to do this very type of thing. We just completed the walkout audit portion. So yeah, I think we'd definitely be interested in continuing on with that through this.
That's great. And maybe as we get this up and running, I'll reach out to you and maybe work with your Safe Routes coordinator or liaison or whatever, maybe pull some of them as resource documents to help guide this consultant so they can have as much info as they can. That's awesome. Congratulations.
So when you say proposals must be received, is that a proposal from a county or a proposal from a consultant?
Consultant.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. These are both consultant tasks. And you can always, if you want to share it with anybody or look yourself or whatever, you can always just click on the full RFP. That just kind of like legislative language, contract language sometimes gets wonky. So we do the simple little description.
Sounds good.
Great, thank you. And one other thing we have going on at the moment here at BMC is our short range our transportation improvement program plan. So we have long-range transportation plans that go out to 2055, and then we have our short range, which is our next 4 years. So our draft, we're calling it Region Now. Our draft plan, our comment period is open now. So you can, well, I'll have a link for you and I'll put it in the chat as well, but also a link in this presentation where you can go online, you can review some of the documents and provide some feedback or comments or share it with any of your partners or constituents. So for the short range plan, we call it the TIP, the Transportation Improvement Program. It includes information about timing, anticipated timing, cost, and purpose of our projects. We have, it's fiscally constrained, so it's things that we can reasonably anticipate that we have the funding for to actually put into action. A lot of times our longer range plan is still physically constrained, but it's the vision over the next 30 years. And this is things move down from that long range plan when they're ready to go, when they're ready to start actually being constructed and implemented and the funding is ready to go. So we have that out there. You can see here, just to give you a glance about the way we get different funding that comes in to support these plans. About 42% is federal funding, 12% is local, 40% is total revenue for this current TIP. As I said, they cannot exceed what's reasonably expected. So these are funds that we have on the books to get these projects ready to go. Those MDTA, those toll revenues, include projects for the Key Bridge. And like I said, here's some links to it. The comment period is still open. You can go on there and you can either look at a story map to give you the shorter version of it. You can read through the full TIP. And there's a lot of different ways if you wanted to provide feedback, either by email, you could always call and leave a voicemail if you'd rather do that. A lot of different options and we appreciate any feedback and comments we can get on the project. If you have any questions about specifics, two of my colleagues, their information's up here. Nicole Condell, she's our TIP analyst. She's the expert on this. Anna Marshall is one of our senior planners for air quality and environmental concerns, which is a major component of our short and long range plans. Anna, congratulations out there, just had a baby a couple days ago. So actually, if you have questions about air quality or anything that you would send to Anna, for now, you can either send to me or Nicole and we'll get an answer for you, but she may not be responding for the next few days, at least, if not the next few months. All right. Does anybody have any questions about anything at BMC or these projects? We are still going with our data telematics project that we've talked about the last few times. And at our next meeting in September, we're going to have that wrapped up and the consultants will be joining us to talk through some of that. It involved surveys. A lot of you participated. Thank you, to give us feedback on your needs and wants when it comes to incorporating telematics data into safety planning. And then they've evaluated vendors and they're finalizing now their recommendations, whether it's a regional solution or things that may appeal to certain specific jurisdictions' needs. But we'll have that report at the end of August and they'll be here in September to actually speak with you directly and answer any questions. Okay, I don't see any hands. Everybody's quiet today. I will now pass it over. We've gone state to region, and now I will pass it over to our partners, our consultant partners with Look Alive, to share an update on that program. Kenna, do you want to share directly or would you like me to do it?
I can share or try.
Nope, you're fine. Go right ahead. I'll stop sharing just to make it easy, but you should be good. I think I made you a co-host, right?
Does that work?
Yep, just have to make it presentation mode and we're good.
All good?
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Kenna Williams Swift with Sherry Matthews Group and here to give a brief update on our Look Alive efforts that we had going this spring. I know that we've presented to this group previously, but just a quick background. The Look Alive campaign is a pedestrian and bicycle safety campaign featuring Signal Woman, our spoke signal character, who comes down from the pedestrian signal head and gives tips to all road users whether they're driving, walking, or biking. And our primary goals are to educate road users in the greater Baltimore region about safety tips that can help keep people walking and biking safe to ultimately reduce pedestrian and um, bicyclist fatalities and injuries in the region. We have lots of fun videos. We have outdoor static ads up on buses. We do street teams, and our main burst of activity is in the fall with Pedestrian Safety Month and sort of back to school as crashes tend to increase, visibility becomes more of an issue. So we concentrate there, but we have several year-round efforts. And so I'm going to talk about what we've done in the last few months. Um, First of all, we have worked with some of the police departments in the region, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Anne Arundel County, Harford County, and Mount Airy. We have been in contact with them and created resources for them. They all are funded by the Maryland Highway Safety Office to do enforcement details related to pedestrian safety. And so we created um, a template news release that they can use to put out efforts to a wider audience, to get that coverage in their local media, as well as creating social media graphics that their departments can use to raise awareness of the laws that protect people walking and biking, and also raise awareness about their enforcement efforts. And so we've done this with Baltimore County for several years now. Lori Hippenstill is an amazing partner. Thank you so much. And now we are working on expanding that and getting resources into the hands of our law enforcement partners. We also had our virtual reality challenge going on tour in April. I think most of the people on this call might be familiar with it, but we have a headset with 360-degree video footage that has an activity where you have to look and spot and lock your eyes on pedestrians and bicyclists as you're behind the wheel. It's kind of spot the pedestrians and bicyclists sort of game, but it features three common high risk scenarios where crashes occur, and it just educates drivers on where they might be needing to watch out for, but also it helps pedestrians walking, kids understand, oh, as a pedestrian, I'm not invincible. There's not drivers might not be able to see me. And so hopefully getting that education out there that they need to also be responsible for their safety. And we have tips and photo opportunities alongside the experience as well. And we give out little Polaroids. And so we took that to two events this April. The first was in Mount Airy at the Carroll County Teen Driver event, a smaller event up there, but really engaged audience. We had more than 40 virtual reality challenge participants, and 70 photo giveaways, and just really good to be out there in the community and get some love out to Carroll County. And then the next day, we went to Arundel Mills Mall. And man, that place was hopping after lunch. There were so many people. And we had over 3,000 folks passing by. We had over 85 virtual reality challenge participants and lots of good conversations and photo giveaways. Um, and it was a really fun event and really great engagement there as well. I was there for a bit myself, and I just was shocked at how many people are at the mall these days. Um, and then finally, I just wanted to touch on the resources that we have available. Wanted to remind folks that we have an event toolkit with a photo backdrop, a tablecloth, and a spinning trivia wheel. That is just a way that you can use to engage people. People love spinning that wheel, and it gives messages in a format that trivia based that makes it more engaging and memorable if they have to like think about a question. And so we have some fun trivia questions like that, and that is available for free from BMC. And we also have, in addition to like the law enforcement specific posts that we put out, we have monthly social media toolkits that has customizable content for our partners that feature Signal Woman and pedestrian and bicycle safety content for your own social media challenge, your channels, your organizations, and that includes graphics and lots of videos, tips, and suggested captions and copy that can be edited and are also best practices for social media trends and also accessibility. So that's something that we have been working on the last couple months with the Highway Safety Office, is to make sure that all of our posts are up to accessibility standards. And so if that's a condition of your jurisdiction, then it has to have repeated content in the caption. Like we make sure that we have that on the up and up and accessible as well. And a huge thank you to the folks who are putting this out. When Baltimore County Police or Fire Department post something, that video gets 1,000 views. And so every post that you put out there spreads the message to new audiences and expanded audiences, and we really, really appreciate that and this in helping us get the word out about these efforts. So quickly looking ahead, we will have a fall campaign. As I mentioned, we do a really big push in October. The fiscal year starts October 1st. So we sort of front load last year in October and also backload to kind of hit up to that most dangerous time of the year. And we're planning on transit and digital and video paid media, our Signal People Street teams, and amplification through news pitching, media tour, social media, partnerships, all of the above. And I know the RFP is out, so we're making sure we can have everything wrapped up by the end of the fiscal year. And I think that is it. Let's just sort of run very, very quick top line of what's happening over in the Look Alive world.
No, thank you, Ken. And I will say, even though this isn't fall, when you really put the push out there, it's still out there, because I saw some Signal Woman stuff the other day still out in Howard County. So
Yay. Yes, a
you gotta
huge
love
thank
when
you.
it stretches, right?
Yes, especially the free media there in Howard County. and Anne Arundel County as well. Um, hopefully that can hold us over, hold us over. So
So as Kenna was talking about plans for the fall, we do still have some room left in the budget for some outreach events now and during the summer and before the fall. If you want, and I'll let you say this, Kenna, so I don't misspeak about it, but we have funding, I think, for maybe a couple of street teams, or certainly if you want to use that event toolkit, if you wanted someone to go as a signal person, we have a whole signal family now. Um, that, am I correct, Ken, in that we do still have some room in the budget, so we don't want summer to take off. Especially with everybody out there walking and biking.
yeah, and especially like when we're looking at that um, going back to school time frame as well, when it starts getting darker earlier in the evening and in the mornings as well. We want to get out there. So we'll be reaching out on street teams, and if there are any other opportunities that you'd like to see the toolkit at or signal people to help with, there's some flexibility there as well.
And we did use the toolkit at a back to school event last year at a school in Baltimore City, and it went over really well.
Yeah.
And I think you said you felt it was a great environment for that type of outreach. So
Yeah, very good with uh, parents reinforcing the messages to their teens and also reinforcing the messages to themselves. And it's just a good time of year to reach people as they're starting new habits, maybe starting a different uh, commute, walking to school, driving to school, drop off, all that stuff. So to make good habits and think about the culture of safety.
you'll probably be hearing from me soon to have time over the summer to plan to work with some of your school partners to see if there are any back to school events, or um, maybe even a national night out or something like that, where because we can take the toolkit ourselves, or we could potentially bring a street team member to it. So.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions or thoughts well, Tanya said you'll be hearing from her too. So there you go. Tanya's always got ideas.
Yeah.
Hi, Cindy, I have a quick question.
Sure.
My question is, have you seen any significant impact ever since this program was implemented, the outreach program, in terms of safety?
As far as numbers, like crash numbers and everything, it's kind of hard to
Right.
draw a direct correlation about all of that. But do you mind sharing a little bit about, they do an annual survey outreach to get impressions and behavior changes and I guess impact.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Like a
So
pre-survey and a post-survey.
Mhm.
we let me just pull up my notes on that. We do a survey before and after our fall campaign push to uh, see whether or not people are seeing and remembering and recalling ads. I can even share that because I have it pulled up if I can. And so we do, it's an online survey. I'm going to stop and reshare because I don't exactly, it's a different presentation from earlier this year. So we do it with 375 respondents, and we make sure that we have drivers who are also pedestrians, but then folks who are more dependent on transit and mainly walking. And so nearly half of those respondents recalled seeing at least one of our signal Signal Woman ads. And we also ask for each ad if it's judged to be, is this relevant to you? Is this a memorable ad? And does this motivate you to be more cautious or keep an eye out for pedestrians? And each of the ads has about 70, like it varies, like the bike ones aren't as relevant as like the driver ones. There's more drivers. But we're getting about 70 to 75% of folks saying it's either relevant or very relevant, memorable and motivational on that. We also do a survey post virtual reality on if people are more aware of where to look for pedestrians and bicyclists, and that's like over 85%, usually in the 90 percentile of people learning new places that they need to be watching for pedestrians and bicyclists. As Cindy said, it's very hard to connect just because there's so much in the landscape, the built environment, the lighting, speed, all of the above. As we know, engineering, enforcement, and education all have to go hand in hand, and we're all trying to do our part, and this is the education part.
And Hayford, if you like, I can send you the report from the last year if you want to dig into more of the numbers and everything from that survey.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I know you're a numbers guy like me. So any other questions or thoughts for Kenna or about Look Alive? Great. Well, thanks, Kenna. I appreciate your time and being
Thank
here,
you.
and sharing all of that.
And yeah, feel free to reach out, Tanya, or anyone else who's interested in having any of these resources available.
And now we can just talk about some more local updates if anybody has any. I will start off just by saying I forgot to mention, a lot of you already know we're in the middle of the grant year with the Highway Safety Office. We had a very successful grant, I think, with our bike helmet project. It was a pilot this last year. A lot of you on the line have either gotten my messages or actually requested bike helmets through us to get out there for outreach and trying to improve bike safety in the community for all ages. That was a fiscal year grant, so we've made our last purchases and shipped them out, but we hope to hear soon if we're able to continue it in FY27. So if we do get that, you'll all be hearing from me again in a few weeks after July starts, so we can plan. Some of you have talked about summer camps and programs and ideas with rec and parks and things like that to be able to get the word out. We have some folks now doing end of school events. Actually, I think there's one going on now, and that's why Cynthia Spriggs isn't here with us. She's out there supporting that. And we also have a lot of back to school events as well. So just wanted to put that plug out there again for our bike helmet grant. Hopefully it gets funded again and we'll be able to continue that outreach across the region. And for some of you on here that may not be in the Baltimore region, the model they tested this year, they piloted this year, was we support the Baltimore region here out of BMC. And there's also a statewide partner. Actually, it's the Washington Area Bicyclist Association in connection with Bike Maryland. So even if you're not within our region here, there's still plenty of opportunity to get bike helmets for outreach events through the Highway Safety Office. Okay, now we can do a little bit of a round robin if anybody wants to share anything about their what's going on in their safety world. If we go down the list, as always, even if I call you out, you don't have to say anything if there's nothing to share, but anybody from Anne Arundel County or Annapolis?
I don't really have anything right now to share.
Okay. I know we're talking about doing another quarterly meeting where Tanya and I and Nestor Flores and their Public Works Department, we're in a pretty big deep dive on crash data and everything here to help support their Vision Zero plan. So.
Right. And actually, some of these topics that we've covered today, I wanted to talk about at our next meeting. So
Okay.
I'll get with you offline, Cindy.
Sure. Anybody here from Baltimore City? How about Baltimore County? Anything going on out there? I know the little bit I know that's going on, they have finished the update to their plan and working through the government system to get that official executive approval. I don't know if I know they had a successful Bike to Work Week event too in Towson.
So this is Fritzen from Baltimore County. The only thing I want to add is that we're still working on our Vision Zero program, trying to get it finalized. We've been working with a consultant for about 1.5 years now, and we still have some work to get done to get it finalized. So hopefully we're looking within the next couple of months to have a final Vision Zero plan and then start enacting on it.
Awesome. It's so nice when it's actually done and you can start doing the work, right?
Yes.
Tanya, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, sure. I actually did have a couple of things to update on. I wanted the group to hear. We did apply for a Safe Streets for All grant. We had gotten awarded a couple of years ago planning, supplemental planning money from them. And we used it to do a safe routes to transit study, which just wrapped up. And out of that, then we're trying to implement it. So we asked for more funding then to implement the recommendations that came out of that study for specifically the North County sub area that they studied. So then we found out that the fire department wanted to apply for something. And so we had them come on as a demonstration piece, piloting what is it? It's a pre-hospital blood transfusion system that they want to bring to the county. So I thought that was cool because we don't often hear of EMS, at least I don't, being implemented through these programs. So I'm hopeful that at least we would get that money, but just wanted the group to hear about that. I think it's kind of cool. That's pretty much it.
No, that's a great point, Tanya. This year, for this last round of the current Safe Streets and Roads for All program, there was a big push for public agencies that weren't there in the previous 4. So I'm sorry, public safety agencies out there like first responders. So that's awesome that we have a few others that have that pre-hospital blood program in the state, but it was April, I guess, at the Lifesavers Conference. USDOT and NHTSA released a new approach, I guess, or a program. I'm not sure the right term for it, but it's Pathways to Safer Streets. And it's kind of just a bunch of different components that they really want to stress and support at the state level. And one of them is EMS and emergency response to crashes and pre-hospital blood programs. So it's a way of trying to increase survivability from crashes. So hopefully that means it will be a very easy path to getting that from Safe Streets and Roads for All.
Hopefully, I mean, it's called out in the NOFO specifically.
Right, exactly. And of course, nothing's official yet, but I looked at a draft bill out of a House committee that kept Safe Streets and Roads for All in there for the next transportation reauthorization. Don't know what's going to come out of the Senate or once they go through all the process of voting and finalizing that transportation bill, but I think it's a good sign that they saw a lot of success out of that program, and at least the first proposal still has Safe Streets in it. So that's awesome.
Good.
Great. Well, thank you. Anybody from Carroll County? I'm not sure. Or Hartford?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Thanks, Hayford, but I'll see you tomorrow. Hartford is having their quarterly traffic safety advisory board meeting tomorrow
Right.
to get everybody together, and that's always a very full room. So I'm sure there'll be good things coming out of that. Howard County, is there anybody on from Howard?
Hey, Cindy.
Oh,
I
Donna.
don't have much to share this time. We have some things queued up that maybe you'll be ready to share at our next meeting.
Awesome.
But I would say that it's funny that Tanya mentioned the Safe Streets for All grant with the first responders, because we have the same thing going on in our county as well. Our fire department was applying for that as well. So it sounds like they were successful in getting the folks that they or enticing the folks to apply that they wanted to with that federal
Oh, that's
program.
great
So,
news. Oh, I would love to have so many of them in the region. That's awesome.
Cool.
And we have all the trauma folks here downtown, so we certainly are in close proximity to get those plans up and running, because I think, well, state police in their helicopters and the medevacs have pre-hospital blood, and I think Carroll County does, and I think there's some others in the region, so you certainly have other peers around you if you want, when you start to get the funding and get up and running. Anyone from Queen Anne's? I don't see anyone from Queen Anne's. Okay. Anybody else have anything else they want to add or discuss today?
I have a question. Is the legislative person, I missed the beginning of the meeting, still here? And did they talk about that? I think there was a bill that did not pass, but it was because it came to came up late or something along those lines. I'm not sure quite how it works, but it was pedestrian related and it allowed for citations, I think, of a vehicle that's not properly yielding to a pedestrian. Are you aware of that?
Myra is
Huh?
here. She gave the presentation. I'm not sure if she has that one front of mind. And there's a couple of folks maybe that could help.
Yeah, hi, Tanya. I'm just looking on our internal legislative tracker now. I know there were a couple of pedestrian bills that actually didn't pass. Now you're saying that one was which one again?
Gosh, I don't even know the number. Somebody else in a police quarterly mentioned it. It's just that it was, I think the police can give a citation to a driver who is not properly yielding to a pedestrian, but I thought that was already the case. So I'm not sure.
Well, it is law if they don't stop for pedestrians and crosswalks, because I know
Right.
we do a lot of enforcement of that. So maybe this was some other type of situation other than in a crosswalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at our tracker now. There were quite a few for those crosswalk monitoring systems. And we may not have followed it, Tanya. I'm not saying it wasn't a bill, it wasn't put
Oh,
forth,
I
but
know what it was. It was automated enforcement.
yeah, on the
So-
crosswalks, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they can issue a citation like a speed camera would.
Right. Those were the ones that were submitted were for Anne Arundel County, City of Annapolis, Montgomery County, and Prince George's County. But they didn't, Montgomery and PG definitely didn't pass. I don't think Anne Arundel County or Annapolis did either.
That's
That
what I
was-
was told. Yeah.
Yeah, you were told that too? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think John Corrin talked about it at the PBEAT meeting last week. And I think, like you said, Tanya, it was one that it came in late, or by the time it got heard by the committee, it ran out of time. So hopefully it gets more leverage next year.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to see that one again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Cindy, I have a quick question. Do you know if speed cameras have been implemented or enforced in other counties
So my
for traffic
understanding,
safety?
Yes.
I will defer to Myra or anyone else on this, but my understanding is there's no blanket law that allows jurisdictions to set their own rules for speed cameras on county roads. There are some exceptions that have passed out of Montgomery County and I think PG, but say up in Hartford, if you wanted it on one of your county roads, you would essentially have to go through the state legislative process to get your name and road added to the bill. It's not just Hartford County Council can decide. But I will defer to all the other experts.
That's
Correct me if
perfect,
I'm wrong.
Cindy. Yep, that's right. That's right.
So it can be done. It has been done in some locations, but it just may be getting your local representatives to put something in, or somebody to put a bill in next year that calls out locations where you would want them on your local roads.
Yeah, I added a link to our program in
Oh.
the chat.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I would think it would be easier if they could make just a law that says we defer to county councils or county commissioners to approve or disapprove automated enforcement on their locally owned roadways, but I'm not sure if that's been proposed and didn't pass, or if it just hasn't been proposed yet, but as of now, it's still a state level process even for county roads.
I think it may have something to do, Cindy, with the fact that they want to be sure that these cameras are placed in areas where there is data and a documented problem, just to alleviate, any public perception of a money grab. So they're keeping it pretty tight right now.
Good point. Thank you. Anything else? Michael, did you have anything?
Let's see.
You just came off mic. Heard you wanted to share.
Okay. Well, let's see. We've got our Street Smart campaign going on, but I need to get an update on that and figure out what all we've got. Get a better account of like how much media we might have earned at our press event. I thought the press event went really well. But so far I haven't gotten an accounting of what kind of media we earned out of that. So anyways, I hope to have that shortly, but I don't really have more that is substantive to report beyond that.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it, because long ago we used to use Street Smart and before we made Look Alive. So always love to hear how our sister brother agency or our campaign is going. All right, well, if there's nothing else, I would like to try. We did do a survey. It was late last year about potentially having a meeting in person. We've been all virtual since the pandemic, but we did used to meet in person before that, for any of you that have been around for more than 6 years on this safety subcommittee. So my goal is our next meeting was already scheduled for September 9th. Did shift the meeting time, so you're not stuck in the city until 2:30, potentially later trying to leave. So I would like to have the meeting at 10 a.m. back to our old time. Hopefully that's a little easier to maneuver, and hold it here at our BMC offices. That was the majority of folks that were open to meeting in person thought that at least to have the first one here, kind of centrally located. So the plan is to meet in person on September 9th at 10 a.m. here at BMC. After this meeting, I'm going to send out a meeting invitation with that information. So hopefully everyone can plan ahead, and we can all see each other in person again instead of through the computer. So with that, that was all I had to share today from BMC, and thank you to all of our speakers and to all of you. Great questions, and I appreciate everybody sharing ideas and grant proposals and everything. It sounds like we have a great year ahead of us coming. So with that, I'll go ahead and end the meeting and wish you all well. Have a great summer.
Right.
Happy summer.
Thank you.
Okay. See
Thank
you
you.
September 9th.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.